Hey guys, we're here back for some more Touhou Tuesday. So it took a little longer than I planned to get back to this, but we're here now, and today I want to show you guys my favorite game in the series. This is Touhou 7 Perfect Cherry Blossom. Now, way back when I started playing these games, I started with number 6, Embodiment of Scarlet Devil, and I thought it was really fun, but I'd say this is the one that truly got me hooked on the series, because going from 6 to 7, there were some nice quality of life improvements, and this has my favorite character, which, if you guys know me, or you've been around with the channel long enough, you know who that is because she's all over the channel. So, back then, I think I didn't record or show any of this because my computer was pretty crap at the time, and I think I wasn't able to have a good recording of this, so that's why I never made any videos, but I can do it now, so let's just do a playthrough of it. We're going to go ahead and do it on normal. And you have 3 characters to choose from. You got Reimu, Marissa, and Sakuya. Which, those of you who know, this is my favorite character, and there's actually a very specific reason as to why she started off as my favorite. You can see that the different characters have some different stats about their speed, their initial bombs, as well as any special things like Reimu has the smallest hitbox. Look at the bomb counts for Reimu at 3, Marissa at 2, and Sakuya at 4. This is actually the true reason as to why she initially was my favorite character, because she had the most bombs. But then later on she became my favorite character for other reasons, but it's really as simple as that. It started off with just her bomb count. So we're going to go with her, and every character has 2 different shot types. We're going to do her topped one, because that's just the one I prefer. And let's just go. So again, you can see she has 4 bombs to start off with, which, for me, back then, that was important because I was still new to the series, and, you know, I wasn't, like, great at it. Well, I mean, I'd say I was pretty good for shoot-em-ups, but I never really played, like, bullet hell shoot-em-ups until I came across this. And back then, I used to play differently. Before, when I would have, like, a tough spell card or something like that, I generally would kind of just bomb my way through it all. My general strategy was just bomb my way to victory. That's how I really, like, would play. Which is completely different from how I would play generally now, especially with the later games in the series. So because of that, I wanted the character that had just the most bombs. And then I liked her shot type anyways. So it kind of just worked out in the end, but it really was just the bomb count. But that doesn't really matter now since I hardly bomb, so I'm still picking her anyways. There we just got rid of Cyrano, who is supposed to be the strongest, but for some reason they made her the stage 1 mid-boss, and she's already dealt with. I'm trying to fill up as much as I can on all these power-up items. Did not quite max out, but we're almost there. So here we have Letty, who I know that, like, canonically she's generally depicted as Cyrano's best friend and sometimes her only friend, because Cyrano doesn't often have friends, at least again when she's typically depicted in whatever medium. But Letty, I believe her thing is that she can only come out in the winter, and with Cyrano being an ice fairy, they kind of naturally would just be able to go together and be friends. But it's kind of sad for Cyrano because she can only hang out with Letty in the winter time. Which, speaking of, that's the general plot of this game, is that winter has been going on for longer than normal, so the 3 main characters go out to investigate to try to figure out why. And as they go further along, they ultimately will find the mastermind behind this whole incident, which, it's not Letty here. It's never the actual mastermind until the final boss, of course. I've talked about the bombs. One of the things I also want to mention is that in these older games, for one thing, in these older games, this staged clear screens is different from how it's shown in the later ones. This one, it actually has to wait for me to click to proceed or press a button. But in these older ones here, I should say, I guess, in the whole series, there's this thing called the point of collection, which it's at the top of the screen here. When you cross a certain threshold, there's a horizontal line. It's just you kind of know where it is. When you cross over, it'll collect all the items on the screen for you, as well as give you more points for the point items, because the higher up on screen you collect the point items, the more points you get. So if you want points, collect it high on the screen as opposed to low. But in the old games, the point of collection existed, but the catch was you have to have max power to be able to use it. Later on in the series, I forget when the change happened, you could use the point of collection regardless of your power status. But here, you have to be max power, which honestly throws me off sometimes when I come back to these older ones and play them, because I'm so used to the later ones where you always have it available. So sometimes I'll have a situation where I'll rush up to the top here to try to use it, banking on it for whatever reason, but it doesn't activate because I'm stupid and I forget that I'm not at max power, and then it really throws things off. So it's one of the things that I have to remember when I come back to these older games. So it's kind of just easy to forget that when you get used to it for so long playing the later ones. You also saw earlier, and I'm collecting these pink items here to fill up my cherry point meter at the bottom left. When you hit 50,000 cherry points, you get this protective barrier. Now, ideally, you don't want to get hit while the barrier's up if you're trying to maximize your points. But if you do get hit while the barrier's up, you don't lose a life. It just, you lose out on like those extra points. It destroys the barrier, but you don't die. So it's nice for protection, but if you're going for high score, you don't want to break that barrier, because you can see there I got my border bonus for keeping it active the whole time. It's a really nice system because you can get it fairly often, and it's just nice to have that little bit of extra protection, especially if you're a beginner in the series. Love the dialogue. What was I saying? I was talking about the cherry point system. I don't exactly remember all of the fine details about how the cherry point system works in terms of the actual points, because there's a few different elements to it, but ultimately the main thing you need to know, especially if you're just starting out, is you just use it for protective barrier. Don't worry about the points so much. And on that subject, I'd say if you're new to the series and you wanted to try playing one, I'd say this is not a bad one to start off with. You'll learn some fundamentals, and again, with the cherry point system, you can get that protective barrier, which is really nice. I also feel like, maybe it's just because I played this one so much back when, I'd say this one isn't as hard. I think there's like one or two games that people generally say are the easiest, especially for beginners getting into the series. This one often comes up at the very least. Not everyone will agree on what the easiest one is, but I think plenty will agree that this is definitely up there in terms of a good starting point. And if you want, you can do what I did and just pick Sakuya because you have more bombs. Because honestly, if you're new to the series, there's nothing wrong with bombing through difficult stuff. Get used to it first. Then slowly try to work into it to not bomb so much. Because I wasn't able to do that until way later in the series. It was really hard for me to break that habit of just bombing all the time to get through the difficult stuff. I pretty much relied on farming as many points as I could to earn extra lives. Because in this one, there's no fancy gimmick for earning lives, it's just points. You'll occasionally hear that sound play when I hit the threshold for the next extra life, because I hit a certain point value. Now this is my favorite stage in the game. And it's also kind of a weird stage. When I came back to practice this, I kind of noticed something. Right off the bat, Alice comes in, and she's the boss of this stage. Some stages will have other other characters as the mini-boss, and then you eventually fight the actual boss of that stage. This one, Alice is the one who comes out, and honestly, most of the stage is fighting her. I feel like there's hardly any actual, like, stage with the regular enemies. It's like, okay, we got a few fairies here, sure, but it really doesn't take long for it to get back to, just Alice coming back out, and then you fight her. It feels like a really short stage. So, okay, we got a few fairies there, and then look, Alice is coming back out again. I feel like in the earlier games here, the whole formula about how Zun would make them, for at least the Windows versions, wasn't quite, like, established yet. I don't know. Although if you go back and play the old PC 98 games, those are very different from the Window ones. I've played them, and it's hard to play them just because the screen is smaller, the bullets, they're just harder for me to see in that one. I don't know. They're worth giving a try, though. And look at that, we're already at the boss. That's why I say, like, this stage feels really short. Now, this is actually the reason why this is my favorite stage. You'd think that with Sakuya being my favorite character, her theme would be my favorite song, but it's actually not. It's this one, Alice's theme. This is my favorite song, my favorite track in the entire series, and I never get tired of listening to it. And I can't exactly pinpoint what it... Well, I can tell you, like, certain parts of the song that are my favorite, but I don't know what it is about it. I latched onto this one, and it's my favorite, which is kind of sad. I kind of wish that Sakuya's was my favorite, but I can't help what I like. It is what it is, and I'm not gonna kid myself. When it kicks into this part. I'm enjoying the music. So good. There's also that old Iosis video, the Marissa stole the precious thing. It also it uses this track. You know, it's a different version of it, but that video is also my favorite one because of the music track. It really just goes hand in hand. I usually try to, whenever I'm doing something with the Touhou music, this track often will get incorporated somehow. Like the Windows gameplay trailer, like the very first video up on my channel that I did for a class project. I specifically chose certain tracks, and I made sure that I included this one as part of it when I was making it, because it's my favorite one. The big round shots can seem a little intimidating, but you don't have to worry about the whole hitbox of it. It's only the center, the dark part that actually hurts you. So the outer edges are safe to pass through. So it's not quite as big as it seems. Alice always gets ignored. So she mentioned something about the spring, which has something to do with why the winter has been going on for as long as it has. Be careful here. Maybe it's just because I'm playing the older games, but for whatever reason, I don't rush the screen as much as I would in the later ones. Like there, if I was, I don't know, more risky, I could get up there and actually farm those a lot better. But maybe it's just my old ways kind of kicking in because I'm playing the old games, or I'm just not as confident in it. I don't know. Rushing up to the top of the screen for the point of collection is really nice for the points, and in some situations it's better for manipulating the enemies and all that. Because back then, I tended to play further back, like way at the bottom of the screen. I would never go up to the top of the screen unless I'm purely going for the point of collection for actually like collecting all the items. Not because I'm actually trying to like position something or manipulate the enemy bullets or anything like that. Here, I'm sure I could rush up more, but I'm just gonna make sure I... Oof. That was close. I do find, though, that when I have the supernatural barrier, I tend to be a little more aggressive because I kind of know I have that safety net of if I screw up, hey, at least that border will protect me and I won't lose a life or have to... or get hit by something stupid like that. I knew I was getting cornered, too. When you hit full power mode, everything auto-collects on the screen, so in situations like that, I knew I could rush for the power-up, and then that would be fine. Even though I was trapping myself with all the bullets, I knew they were gonna clear. That was such a dumb death. That one could have easily been avoided. I could have also bombed, but again, I am in such habit now of not bombing that sometimes it works against me. And the main reason why I got in the habit of... I'm gonna bomb to collect this one. I got in the habit of not bombing was because back then, I didn't care about getting all the spell cards for the bosses. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you don't need to get them, especially if you don't care about points. But as I got on later on in the series, I did that for safety. I wanted to try to actually start getting them, so I trained myself to stop bombing all the time. But in some instances, it actually gets me killed, where I really should bomb. I need to bomb at this point. Like, I screwed up, or there's no way out, but I'll try to hold out. And sometimes it just gets me killed. You can death bomb, where if you bomb at the very last instant, like when you hear the death sound, you actually have a few frames where you can still bomb. And it's kind of like, that's when I try to do it. Sometimes I hit the timing, other times I don't. And it really sucks when I die with so many extra bombs on hand, because it feels like such a waste. I mean, because it is. But it's just hard to fight that habit that I've ingrained in myself now. Alright. I used some bombs, but that's okay. And this run is not going to be perfect. I thought about, like, practicing so many times till I can get, like, a perfect run, but it doesn't really matter. As long as I don't completely botch it, it's fine. That actually becomes a running gag with the series, her being called a dog, because I had to bomb there because I'm dumb, because she's a servant to Remilia. hate this bullet pattern burst. Yeah, I really trapped myself. Those wavy lines, they really throw me off. In general, I really grew to hate lasers, and then especially the wavy kind. Now all three of them come out, which is totally unfair. I'm outnumbered. Thought about rushing up for those points, but I wanted to play it safe instead. That one I cut way too close. Now you can tell by the history count, this is a card that usually gives me trouble, and I usually have to bomb at some point. I got completely caught there. I didn't even see what hit me. I think it spawned on top of me. Damn. If I recall correctly, even playing back then, the Prism River Sisters, that's about when I started to maybe lose some lives or have to start really bombing through stuff. So that's about right. I'm super trapped. I death bombed there because I tried to squeeze through and I instantly knew that I messed that up. That's why we have all the bombs. Not the best, but that's fine. Alright, stage 5, so we're getting closer now. I think this one also, generally feels like kind of a short stage. Stage 6 is definitely short. It's pretty much just the boss. They're pretty much just giving us some free cherry points. Yikes. This is the part where I know stuff's falling and I just cannot collect it. I just focus purely on surviving at this point, and the colors, honestly, make it hard anyways. It's always been one of the things I've struggled with, is that the color of the point items and your power-ups and all that, you know, like the red and blue, you'll get a lot of patterns that have red and blue, and it's totally intentional. It makes it intentionally hard on your eyes, which is one of the reasons why I often like to try to collect everything on screen whenever I can, because it helps declutter things. So now Yomu comes out. She's playing both the role of mid-boss and stage boss. Here I get aggressive and mess it up, but the idea is during the slowdown time, that's when you should push over to where you're going to be needing to transition to, so that you can weave in between the small spaces that of the bullets, because if you wait until after the slowdown has happened, it's much harder to navigate. That means you gotta get much closer to the bullets than you want to initially. Yomu's actually half human, half ghost. So again, she's gonna do this whole slicing thing, which she's not actually slowing down time. I forget exactly what it is. It's just that she's cutting so fast that it just seems like time is slowing down. So even though I'm not getting damage in right now, it's more important that I get over into the position that I need to be in, so that I can weave through that with the slowdown she provides me. Shoot, I mispositioned. Now this is going to be thrown off a little bit. Ooh, got saved there. Dang it! I did that as safety. I think I was fine. I was just in between, but I did it just to be safe, which is why my history count on this spell card is not great. It's okay. But I'm out of bombs now, so now I have no choice but to try to survive whatever she throws at me. Here, I'm going to slowly manipulate over to keep it controlled. And I'm going to do a big movement to give myself room to dodge. Oh, we actually survived it anyways, just outright. Here, you gotta get aggressive. Gotta get up in there. Oh, how did I not die at the very end there? Alright, final stage. The stage itself is very short. It pretty much is just a few seconds and then you're at the boss. We got no bombs. Plenty of lives, though. How many times have we died so far? Twice to stupid stuff? I know I'm letting those cherry points fall, but it's fine. Now a bunch are gonna fall anyways. Now it's just survive. Yomu comes out one last time to try to stop us. I have no bombs, and this is a card that I'm terrible at. Ooh, haven't cleared that one in a long time. Might have been a little bit luck there, but it's fine. And we actually got a bomb back too. Again, she called me the dog or the devil. One thing I didn't really mention is, if you're really, like, careful about it, you can actually time when you're going to get your cherry borders. Like, you can intentionally hold off on getting points in certain parts because you know something's coming up and you want to get the barrier at the right moment. I kind of just grab it as it comes. This is one where, again, you kind of get aggressive, you got to get in there, you need to get away from the lasers on the left, so you got to get in the middle of all this crap over on the other side. Throughout this whole fight, you tend to get a lot of cherry points. Unfortunately, this barrier that we just got was pretty much wasted. Ooh, almost got fully trapped there, but we made through. There's another card that I'm bad at. Nah, I'm trapped. Don't quite know how to manipulate that right. Back to no bombs. The curve on these shots can kind of throw you off. I'm a little too close for comfort right now. Oof. Still no bombs. Oh, okay, this one requires heavy manipulation. Start in the center, then go off to the side. Force that explosion to be far away from me. See, I'm going way up here to the top corner, and as soon as it's homing in on where it was, move away. If you don't manipulate that, you are absolutely going to get cornered. You have to control it. You got to make big movements with it. You got to get risky and move around, but it's necessary. All right. I always just kind of wing this one. It's kind of just like I can kind of see. You don't have to move too much side to side for it. There's a lot of bullets, but it's kind of easy to weave in between them. I'm definitely screwed here. did that wrong. And I had no bombs to work with. So now I'm probably just going to bomb for safety. We'll see. Ooh, didn't have to. Almost had to, though. I was about to, honestly. There was a tiny space I was going to fit through, but I was going to bomb for safety. To end. Please end. Oof. Another border that's useless. I can't remember if this end part always activates, or if it only activates if, like, maybe you haven't used continues. Something like that, I forget. Yes! Oh, get all those sweet points. Just because there's so many bullets on screen. Whew! Hey, I got a new high score. You know what? I had a sloppy middle part, but I'll take it. The fact that I improved my high score is enough that this was a decent enough run. I was super quiet at that end part. I was super focus mode there. I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. And so we get the good ending. Ending number 8. I think the first 3 endings are one for each of the main characters. If you have to use continue, you get like the bad ending. Excuse me. Always, if you use a continue, you get the bad ending. I'm trying to think. There might actually be one other game where you don't, where continues are allowed, besides number 15. I can't exactly remember. But in general, usually continues means you don't get the good endings. And then you have an ending for each of the characters and each of their shot types. I forget what the other ones are because usually when I come back to play this, I just play as Sakuya and I use her first shot type. Which actually, back then, my main goal was, and it kind of still is now, for every game that comes out, I want to get a 1cc on normal with at least one character. Doesn't matter who, just as long as I get a 1cc and unlock extra stage, I usually feel like that's when I've met my goal for the game. 15 is an exception because of the way that the legacy mode versus the point device mode works. I beat it on point device, which uses continues, but that's kind of the gimmick and the mechanic of that game. So that one aside, for all the other ones, my goal was always get a 1cc with at least one character, and then eventually after I played pretty much all the games that were out at the time, I started going through and actually trying to 1cc with every character and every shot type. I did it for everything from, I think, 6 onwards till 10 or 11, maybe 12. I can't remember. It might have actually been around the side game where you play as Cyrano. I think maybe that was the last one that I was attempting. I can't exactly remember. Anyways, so next, Phantasm. It's talking about the extra stage stuff. And I'll go ahead and save my new high score. Bombs used, 3 misses, 9 bombs used, 19 spell cards captured. I think I got at least 1 or 2 cards that I don't typically get, so I'm generally happy with that. Some of those deaths were stupid, though. But that's okay. So having beat it on normal with Sakuya's main type, you unlock the extra stage, but only for her. I can't select any of the characters, and I can't select any of the shot types. So if I wanted to do the other ones, I'd have to play as the other characters. And I think you have to do it at least on normal. I'm not sure if easy will unlock it. I don't think it does. I don't typically play on easy mode. I think the only time I ever did was Touhou 10 because I was trying to get used to the new bomb system in that one because I really hated it and it threw me off. But anyways, so that's it for this one. You can see all the different records. I'm going to show the things for her. So you can see that, and I think I can even... Okay, so it's not there. If I go to the spell cards, I can actually see all the ones I capture. It displays it kind of differently. I like the way that the later games show it. Other stats as well. It's kind of fun to look at the stats if you actually play the games a lot, but... anyways... Just leave it sitting on this screen. So that's it for this run here, guys. I think what I want to do is... I want to do a couple of videos for this. I definitely want to do some more... I say some more... extra stage attempts. I know that back then, I tried doing some extra stage. I think I'd mentioned in one of the other videos before that the only one I've ever actually beaten for the extra stages was Touhou 6, Embodiment of Scarlet Devil. I've never beaten any of the others, but I don't typically, like, give serious attempts. I'll play it a little bit, kind of see how far I can get, and then call it a day. I never really grind at it. And I won't do that here either, but I definitely want to do some extra stage attempts, because I don't remember how this one is, with probably the goal of trying to make it at least to the boss. If I can make it to the boss, then I'll be satisfied. But I think I might do one other run before I get to that, so that'll probably be the next video. But that's going to be it for this one, so thanks guys for watching, hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll see you guys next time.